comments or corrections? All right, so I ask for a motion to approve those minutes as written.
Motion to approve?
Second. All in favor? Aye. Lastly, I want to ratify and confirm one of the rules we put together, the resolution we put together last time. So I'm going to read that resolution out loud, and then once we pass it, these are going to be the rules of this proceeding, if everyone understands that. So here are the rules we like to go. So before presenting, each person speaking must be sworn in, and so I'll go over that affirmation or swear before we get finished here. Each side has 15 minutes to present their evidence. A 5-minute rebuttal will be allowed after each side has presented, if needed. There will be no interrupting any party while they are presenting, and I'm going to make this a very serious rule today. All right. After that, the board will make the decision. So what I will have everyone do that comes to the podium here, you will first introduce yourself, and then you will basically state, I will ask you solemnly swear to tell that you're about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Let me read that again, I apologize. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, which you will answer affirmatively? Does the board or the election board choose to pass this resolution? Can I get a motion? All right, do I get a second? All right, so these will be the rules of proceeding. And so, going from there, is there any other business that we need to get to prior to asking for the first challenge? I don't think so. So, yes, Ms. Morrison.
Will you guys have a clock that's running to show the 15 minutes? Or do we have
I can put my watch on or can you
or
guys?
do we have something they can set up, or do we have an iPad, or no? If we don't, that's okay.
How about this? Can we give Mr. Any candidate with a 30-second head time be enough for you to wrap it up?
No, that's okay. 15 minutes is a long time, but sometimes you get up there and you think 3 minutes is half hour.
Absolutely. Well, why don't we do this, Cam, if we could? We have a motion that we would inform the speaker that they have 30 seconds left on their time.
Motion.
Second.
I have my timer already set.
Very good. All right. So, any other preliminary business? Very good. So, right now, let's call, I believe the first challenger is Alan Thorpe. Thorpe, is that correct? Mr. Thorpe, can you please take the podium, explain who you are and what your challenge is?
All three of them.
Just one at a time if you could, just so we get our minutes correct.
Copy of the documents I represented to you this morning. First of all, my name is Al Thorpe. I want to thank Wendy for getting this put together and everybody for attending today. I am chairman of the Dearborn County GOP, and as such, have the responsibility to review candidate filings for elections. And I have filed challenges for 3 people that I will discuss in detail this morning. And before I get into those, I wanted to share that I was elected Dearborn County GOP chair back in March 1st of last year. Volunteer position, it's not paid, nor is my position that of a political office. Outside of this, I'm a retired mortgage banker who volunteers for Meals on Wheels, the Red Cross, and at my church. Never run for political office, and I'll be 68 next week, and I don't think I ever will. And I say this because I'm not here, and I'm not making this challenge to promote myself in any way for any future political office, nor do I intend to run for re-election. Rather, I'm here believing I'm doing what the Indiana GOP has entrusted me to do as chair, as well as what I believe is the right thing to do. Additionally, I am one of 4 officers of the Dearborn County GOP Central Committee, 2 of which are here today. And before filing these challenges, I shared my reasoning with all of them, and not one disagreed. As I mentioned, one of the major responsibilities of the county party chairs duty to ensure compliance with state GOP party rules as well as Indiana election code. Included in this is reviewing the voting records of candidates who filed for the Republican ballot positions to determine if the candidate meets the qualified primary Republican rule criteria spelled out in the Indiana GOP rules and procedures, of which I have a copy up here and is available online. So before I get into the challenges, you want me to be sworn in?
Yes, absolutely. So you please raise your right hand. And so basically, make sure, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Mr. Toro.
Okay. In regarding two of the filings, one of them, David Baumgartner, for convention delegate. The challenge is simply that he did not meet the requirement in the NGOP Rule 1-24, which states, quote, "A qualified primary Republican is a voter who cast a Republican Party ballot at the two most recent primary elections in Indiana in which the voter voted, and who is a Republican in good standing." Mr. Baumgartner only voted in one. I reached out to him and spoke with him, I emailed him and then I spoke with him later, and he quickly responded to my challenge. And as I mentioned, we spoke about it, we emailed while he was disappointed with the challenge, he understood it and was not going to contest my challenge and is not here today to do so. So that is the complete information I have for the challenge.
Is anybody here to speak for Mr. Baumgartner?
I wasn't given permission, but I would like to speak if I get a chance to rebut. I don't have legal written form for him saying.
Yeah, like I said, he's someone speaking on his behalf. I was thinking about a wife with POA or something like that. He, of course, has to speak for himself.
I'm not married to him.
Even any other evidence? Do you have any evidence about the statute that opposed us or anything?
Just that he didn't file based on the voting records, and he didn't contest the voting records with the Indiana GOP when he received my copy earlier.
Understood. So are you, Mr. Thorup, so you're quoting, so what we have here is Rule
1-24.
1-24, and that is your purpose for challenging, is that correct?
He did not meet that threshold.
Very good. And you do not, I think one of the thresholds is that you have to know him personally or he has to
Well,
participate.
what he has, or what the rules require, and I'll read this is the CAN 2 form that he supplied in his file. It says here, "I am claiming affiliation with the Democratic or Republican Party. I understand that my party affiliation is determined by which party I voted for in the last two primary elections held in Indiana, which I voted. I understand that if I cannot meet this party affiliation requirement, I must obtain and file with this declaration a certificate from the appropriate county chairman of the party indicating that I am a member of this political party. I meet the requirement to be affiliated with the political party indicated because he didn't get with me before this, but it says here, the county chairman of the county in which I reside and of the political party with which I claim affiliation above has certified that I am a member of the political party, and I've attached a copy of the county chairman's certification to this form." I was never asked for that.
So there's no certification, nor has he
No
done this.
certification.
Very good. Does anybody else on the committee have any? All right. I'll go ahead and call for a motion that the challenge has been victorious, that Mr. Baumgartner is not to run in this election. Do we have any second on that? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. So, since no rebuttal, let's go ahead with the next. I believe the next one is Mr. James Gabbard. Is that correct?
Yes, and then Mr. Gabbard here. Good morning, sir.
I'm here.
All right, Mr. Gabbard is basically challenging him under the same exact rules. He does not have the primary, Republican primary votes to be qualified primary Republican running in this election.
Mr. Thorpe, has he voted in any primary as a Republican at all?
Yes. He voted as a Republican. Yeah, let me get right on here. Voted as a Republican in 2024, and in 2016 voted as a Democrat. He voted as a Republican in 2016 and 2017 voted as a Democrat. He voted as a Republican in 2016 and 2017 voted as a Democrat. reached out to him via the phone number I had, and then I sent him an email, both prior to the last date for, withdrawing, asked him to reach back out to me and discuss this. And I also shared in that email that was sent back on the 12th, it was at an email address that, Randy had given me. I asked him, I'm asking you to withdraw your nomination as clerk's office before tomorrow at noon, and have the withdrawal form, which is CAN 10 attached. I'll be there on the 13th to contest any candidates who filed who do not meet the Indiana GOP voting criteria. And to this point, I never heard back from him.
Well, I figured if I was gonna get spanked.
Well, Mr. Gabbard, please, we'll allow you, you'll get your time, I promise.
Yeah.
Anything? Go ahead, please.
And simply, that's it. And we have never met. I have no feelings one way or the other, but it's my job to look at what are the requirements under the Indiana GOP qualified primary Republican status, and he simply didn't qualify. So that is the sole objection that I have to his filing.
Very good. Anything further, Mr. Stewart?
No, that's it.
All right. Mr. Gabbard, would you like to say anything at the podium?
Actually, all I gotta say is I'm gonna accept the ruling, so that I'm not gonna fight. I just wanted to put a face to it, and I'm gonna go to the meetings and be in the background, so I'm not gonna dispute it.
Very good. So, for those reasons, I'd go ahead and I'd motion that, Mr. Gabbard be taken off the election rolls, moving forward. Do I have can I have that motion, please?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Gabbard. What is it? Sam's,
It's right here.
that's his challenge. Do you have that? But this is all we do.
Should have everything in here that you,
All right.
because that's Jim's Gabbard's. I'm done with that. Do you have Sam's, declaration?
Thanks, ma'am.
We don't have one in our packet. We just have the challenge.
Yes, please.
Please.
Thank you.
Those are for the CAN 37.
Yes, you have a copy of that? Ms. Thorpe, you're still under oath, so if you'd like, I think our last challenge of the day is for Mr. Sam Morrison. If you'd like to go ahead and proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Regarding Mr. Morrison, I want to make the point that I am not challenging Sam Morrison. He has an excellent Republican primary voting record. I have a copy of it. So that is not the issue with Mr. Morrison. I am challenging him filing, not using his legal name, rather filing his own consent. This is what you have in front of you. That's it. Further, I do not have any animus towards Mr. Morrison. We have met a grand total of 5 times. First time being a Tuesday before the GOP reorganization meeting a year ago. At that reorganization meeting, at a district caucus where you were running for district chair. A few moments at the Lincoln Day dinner and in the hallway outside the clerk's office on 13th of last month. As such, I don't really know Sam well at all. That said, I have 2 issues in regard to this filing, one being technical and the other my honest, honest opinion that filing is misleading for the voters of River County. Technical issue is on the CAN 37 filing. When he filed on February 6th for convention delegate, he put in Uncle Sam, not Uncle Sam Morrison, not Uncle Sam for Indiana, just Uncle Sam. Shortly Shortly after finding out about this, on the afternoon of February 6th, I reached out to some members of our party, as well as started doing some research on my own. One of the first communications that I received was a printout from Indiana Code 3-10-1-14.1 that you have referencing printing names on ballot. And that reads in part, in addition to the candidate's given name, the candidate can use the nickname by which the candidate is commonly known. Any nickname used must appear in parentheses between the candidate's given name and the candidate's surname. The candidate's name must be printed on the ballot exactly as the name appears on the candidate's certificate of nomination, petition of nomination, or declaration of candidacy. And what I'm gonna share later, and I'll as well say right now, the spirit of this code is that voters need to know who they're voting for when they want to vote. Subsequent to reading this, I did see Wendy before the last day of final challenges, and she shared with me a printout from the book I believe you likely have in front of you, where it says the applicability of this chapter does not apply to the following. One of them being a candidate for precinct committeeman, and the other one a candidate for delegate to a political party
But,
convention.
I don't mean to interrupt, but what you're talking about is that CAN 37 form, not this 3-10-1-14.
This is, I'm referencing what Wendy gave me before the.
So you're referencing IC code 3-5-7, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Subsequent to that, well, Wendy asked me if I wanted to still make a challenge after reading my speech, and I said yes. So I filed it. Yesterday, I also went on picked up 2020, or printed out 2026 Indiana candidate guide, and referencing candidate names and nicknames. I'll read a little bit of this here quickly. The candidate must list the individual's name on the candidate's filing in the same manner as the as the individual wants the name to appear on the ballot, and the candidate's name is permitted to appear on the ballot under IC 3.5. A candidate's name refers to any of the following: the candidate's given name, the candidate's surname, and the candidate's middle name. They went on to give an example of Judith Ann Smith, who uses the nickname of Judy. And they gave the following examples of acceptable candidate name designations for this individual: Judith Ann Smith, J. Ann Smith, Judith A. Smith, J. A. Smith, A. Smith, Judith, Judy Ann Smith, Judith Smith. Further goes on to say, a nickname used by a candidate on the ballot must be the nickname by which the candidate is commonly known. Unless the candidate uses the nickname as first designation, this nickname must appear in parentheses. For example, Judith, Judy Ann Smith, etc. Again, the spirit of this is that it's important for the voters of Indiana to know who they're voting for. Second part of this is my practical honest opinion. I believe that the filing is misleading to the Dearborn County GOP voters, because I would make my case that the real Uncle Sam is a fictional and very patriotic character that we are familiar with. Right here, which I put in my file. In 2024, Dearborn County had 39,319 people registered to vote. I would suspect in 2026 we have more. Of these, 5,849 voted. And of those, 5,257, or 89.88%, voted for Republican. Mr. Mortensen's Facebook page, which I printed out yesterday, it says Uncle Sam for Indiana. It does not say Uncle Sam. I got this from a secondary source, which is a post that Sam put out 2 years ago referencing the challenge in 2024. And up at the top it says 2Y. After it says Uncle Sam for Indiana, not Uncle Sam. So he's been using that designation for quite some time. He has 736 followers on his Facebook page. some of whom likely do not live in Dearborn County. But that 700, let's assume that we have the same voter turnout. That 736 represents 14% of potential Republican voters. As such, I would argue 86% of the voters that go in and vote, when they see Uncle Sam, they will not know who they are voting for. Okay? Further, 88 people filed for the election. Primary. Of those 88 Republicans, 87 filed with their actual name. 30 Democrats also filed. You got 118 people. Of those 118 people, only one filed with a fictitious character, Mr. Morrison. The other 117 filed using their actual name or nickname similar to their legal name, such as Mr. Gabbard, who filed James Jim R. Gabbard. And there's a few others there, but they use their name. Okay? The names of these candidates that filed, that printout that you have is on the Dearborn County Clerk's website. So if I'm a voter in Dearborn County, I want to try to find out information about who John Ballard. I can do so, with one exception. And that exception is Mr. Mortensen. Because if you go on to the internet and you put in Uncle Sam on Google, DuckDuckGo, or Bing, what they will see are the printouts that I provided you, which reference the character of Uncle Sam. Interestingly enough, I don't trust Wikipedia myself too much, but what it says for Uncle Sam is that Uncle Sam is a common national personification of the United States depicting the federal government or the country as a whole. It doesn't say Sam Mortensen. Finally, while Uncle Sam may provide Mr. Mortensen an advantage by having voters who have no idea that he's the candidate who filed with Uncle Sam, they may want to vote for him and say, hey, I voted for Uncle Sam. Or it may not help them. Who knows? It's not the point, in my opinion. My point is that making filing for Uncle Sam is misleading, regardless of who filed using that name. That's it.
Well, before you step down, before we're gonna, if you can allow me, I just have one question. Mr. Gabbard, with the parentheses around his name, you would have allowed him to run with the nickname in the middle of the parentheses. So if Mr. Mortensen, just asking, if he would have put Uncle Sam in parentheses, would that have changed your opinion on this challenge?
Honestly, I don't think so, because it didn't include his last name.
Well, I'm saying if you put Sam, parentheses, Uncle Sam Mortensen, would that have changed your?
It would have perhaps taken the first argument away, but the second argument remains still.
So my last question, I'll let Sam talk then, is just that you believe that this is a violation of 3-10-1-14.1
Correct.
then?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Any other questions from the committee?
No.
Very good. Mr. Mortensen, you have your 15 minutes, we can start that over again. Mr. Mortensen, you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, so my name is Samuel David Mortensen, and I live in Dearborn County here. And I'm objecting to the challenge on 6 objections. I'll run through these real quick and explain more. First objection is the code he's citing is, to my understanding, is how the clerk is to write everybody's name on the ballot. Second point, 357 says it does not apply to delegate. Number 3 is I am Uncle Sam. I've been Uncle Sam for 2 decades. 4, strangers know me about Uncle Sam. I'll get that later. I also feel like the chair fails to uphold equal justice under the law. And I specifically, point number 6, I specifically asked the clerk if I was fine to put the information down as I did. And then, I've got one other final point after that. So, first code, they are citing is how the clerk is to write their name on the ballot. Is that correct? Is the code that is that Indiana law for the clerk's office? The context of that code?
I think it's, if I can tell you what my belief is, it's code for everybody.
Okay, so the CAN 37, it's a little bit of discrepancy here. So the declaration of candidacy that I filed here has my full name, Samuel David Mortensen, at the top, and then it says number 7 right before you get into it, that it doesn't apply to delegate. On the bottom it does say code. The code that he's also citing, that was sent to me in the challenge in the email, it also stated that all of the letters needed to appear in all capitals, and anybody's name needed to be in parentheses if there were. If you're going for equal justice under the law, and we're going to go over every single specific that had to be filled out, of all the Republicans who filled out about, there are only 3 who meet that qualification. There are only 3 who put their full name down, and their given name, and their surname in all caps. So if we're going to by that, everybody should be challenged. I would assume that everybody, when I've gone to vote, everybody's name does appear that way. The second thing is, the third thing is I am Uncle Sam. I've been Uncle Sam for 20 years. I've got a bunch of nieces and nephews, and Uncle Sam is what I've been known by beforehand. If you have somebody whose name was, William Michael Mouse, and his grandpa was Will, his dad was Bill, and everybody called him Mike or Mikey, and then he just signed up as Mikey Mouse, well, that's fine. Well, if people call him Mick or Mickey, and it's Mickey Mouse, it's not his fault that his name also coincides with a Disney character. It's just who he is, it's who people know him as. My fourth point, strangers know me by Uncle Sam. Just 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was out at dinner at Mexican with my family, and my girls don't know how to say Mexican. They say, can we go get guacamole? They like guacamole. And some random guy comes walking up to me from across the restaurant. He's an older gentleman with a Vietnam hat on, a cane, and some braces on his legs. He goes, hey, are you Uncle Sam? And I chuckle and say, yeah. Out with my family, I'm not wearing any political gear. I didn't have an Uncle Sam hat on. I was just me having dinner with my family. And he started talking about some issue in the county and how you should get involved to help with, support this group or whatever. Great conversation. Last year when I ran for district chair, I called the GOP chair of a neighboring county, 2 counties away. He's also the prosecutor in that county. He's also the vice district chair for the 6th congressional district. And I called him. I introduced myself to Sam Mortensen on the phone. And he said, hey, can't talk right now. Really glad you called. It was a very warm conversation. Before he got off the phone, he goes, hey, you're Uncle Sam, right? And I said, yeah, that's me. He said, great. I'm looking forward to talking later. So if somebody I've never met from 3 counties away knew me as Uncle Sam, some stranger in the store knows me as Uncle Sam. I was walking into church last week. A gentleman lives 45 minutes away from here. He was a mechanic of mine, but we're not super close. I've spent 4 or 5 years since I had stuff out of the shop. I walked in. He goes, hey, Uncle Sam. I turned sideways at him and I said, how do you know who that is? I'm not in those circles, don't talk politics at church. And he said, oh, I'm watching what you're doing online. So Uncle Sam is what people know me at. And that's who I am. I didn't put that I'm Tom Cruise, although lots of people tell me I look like Tom Cruise. But I'm not Tom Cruise, but I am Uncle Sam. The third thing is, my point is, the chair fails to uphold equal justice under the law. If we're going to file a technical issue on one, we should file a technical issue on all. And there are only 3 people, if you review that ballot that was provided for you, only 3 people that put their full name in all caps. I would assume that, according to that thing, my name should appear as Samuel, because Sam is not my given name. Samuel is my given name. In parentheses, Uncle Sam Mortensen, all caps. That would be the technical way to file. And that's how I'll file from now on moving forward. But it should also be how everybody else is filed. So, if my request is, I specifically asked that if the, I asked this and clarified with the clerk, I specifically asked the clerk if it was fine to use this name, and she said yes. If the election board is going to uphold this challenge, my question is, did the clerk knowingly or unknowingly tell me something incorrect? And if we're going to uphold this challenge moving forward, can we make a formal recommendation that people post this? Because in this CAN 37, what I put in first and second spot, it says in both places you can use your nickname. Well, that's not technically legally correct. This CAN 37 should say in the first person you have to give your given name. Right. If I could use some examples here for people who do not use their given name. Commissioner Thatcher's real name is James. He signed it as Jim. His name on the ballot, I'm not saying he should be thrown off, but his name on the ballot should say James, in parentheses, Jim Thatcher, in all caps. He also filed on his form, when he said Thatcher, he wrote, in the same box that I wrote, he wrote capital T, capital H, capital A, lowercase t, lowercase h, lowercase e, big R. Well, that's not how it's supposed to appear on the ballot. That's how it is, according to this can form. The Vice Chair of the Republican Party, Mrs. Kathleen Peratt, put Kathleen Peratt, Kathy, in parentheses. Well, that's wrong. Kathy's supposed to be in the middle, and it's supposed to be all caps, and it wasn't capped. Joe Volk is running for Senate, put Joe Volk. That's not his name. His name's Joseph Volk. Randall D. Maxwell, put Randall D. Maxwell instead of Randy Maxwell, which is correct, but it's not all caps. We're going to throw both the Senate candidates off the ballot. Christopher Powell and Douglas Baker are both running for Council District 3. Both of them put Doug and Chris. That's not true. Mike Lawrence is running for delegate. Mike Lawrence isn't his first name. It wasn't his given name. It's William Michael. And I think it's Mike Perleberg. It's Patrick Michael Perleberg. He ran as Mike Perleberg. So if you're going to fill out the form properly, they need to take, and I'm not saying all these people should be thrown off, but according to the rules that the clerk's going to have to follow, they need to take all of the things that are applied in there and put their given name at birth, James for Commissioner Thatcher, Patrick for Mike Perleberg, William for Mike Lawrence, Jeff Cotton, the same thing. You put Jeffrey down and just put Jeff Cotton. Nobody knows it's Jeffrey. I don't even know if your mom still calls you Jeffrey. But that's the issue of the complainant. So down the ballot, it's confusing. I asked the clerk, she said it's fine, and the form itself says in both things that you can use a nickname. So however you rule today, I would ask that you make a formal recommendation to whoever the authorities are that need to have, that they either change this form, because apparently you're not allowed to use your nickname in the first clause, but it is. And the other thing, as far as my name, I go by Uncle Sam for a couple reasons. One, I've been Uncle Sam for 20 years. Two, before I ever got involved in politics, I don't know what it is. People have a hard time pronouncing my last name. And I'm not picking on you, Mr. Eubank, but you said Mortensen twice today. It's not Mortensen, it's Mortensen. My mom grew up in Morton, Illinois, just outside of Peoria. I'm her son, Mortensen. 2 years ago, we sat here. The GOP chair at the time, different chair, said Sam Mortensen. People say Mortensen, Mortensen. I didn't think it was that hard to pronounce. I say if people have trouble pronouncing, I say just call me Uncle Sam. You don't have to forget that name. And they don't. And so most people in this county do know who Uncle Sam is. There's 28 people running for 20 spots on the delegate. If they don't know who Uncle Sam is and don't want to vote for me, they don't have to do that. But if they don't know who Billy Bob is, they don't have to vote for him either. Or they can put it in. The relevance of the psychology of the voter, what they know, is irrelevant. The only issue is technicality, and on a technicality, it should all be done the same way, equal justice under the law. So I disagree with the filing on that challenge, but I'm fine, and the clerk called me back, and she said, well, you want to put Uncle Sam Mortensen? I said, well, nobody knows me as Uncle Sam Mortensen. People know me as Uncle Sam, know Uncle Sam. And Sam Mortensen isn't my legal name either, it's Samuel Mortensen. So I would be fine if we just amend it and just say Samuel, in all caps, in parentheses, Uncle Sam. Probably, I guess, my question would be, if I fill out this form next time, do I put Uncle Sam in one box, or I put Uncle Sam in 2 boxes? Uncle Sam is less than 20 characters, so I guess Uncle Sam would go in 1 box in parentheses. And then put David, my middle name, and then Mortensen. That would be the legal way to file, I guess. Is that correct?
That's what I'm reading in the law here.
Okay, so that's what I would expect. So Samuel David Mortensen is at the top of the form. I provided all the information. I signed my name as Samuel D. Mortensen on the back, and I put Uncle Sam in both boxes because Uncle Sam is who I am, whether people like that or not, whether it rhymes with something else or not. I've been Uncle Sam for a very, very long time. I'm a very good uncle, by the way. There's a couple dozen nieces and nephews that can attest to that. And then, furthermore here, it says in both boxes that you can use your nickname. And so, that's what I put. And Uncle Sam for Indiana is not my name. You just have to put for something on social media. That's the other rebuttal to the other question. What's the time at?
You got 4 minutes and 50 seconds.
Under 15 minutes. Thank you, board. Any other questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Just real quick. In your experience, I mean, you voted as a Republican now quite a few times, right? In your experience, you ever see anybody just put their nickname without any other full name on the ballot?
I 10-something years of voting. I don't know. I think Wendy decided that Mooch Hamilton would use his nickname. When I saw it, it was all caps, and it was in the middle or the end, or I don't know where it was. I would assume it was done legally, however it's supposed to be done. So, I'm not sure. I've seen Mike Lawrence use his name, I voted for him last time, and Mike,
If you're willing to conform and put your last name on there now, why wouldn't you have done that when asked?
because I asked, I said, was there, do I have to? And I said, no, but I didn't.
But you were approached prior to this meeting and asked if you would add your last name and you refused, correct?
No. Nobody requested anything of me. The clerk called me back and said, Sam, in the bottom of this form, it says that, and I'm not saying he was dishonest in that accusation, but I was just sent a filing challenge, any challenges filed with Uncle Sam. Nobody gave me the option to change that or anything else. They did call me back that afternoon, I think Pam, you did, and said, hey, your name has to show up in the voter roll this way you apply on the ballot. Well, I don't care if you put, and I changed my voter registration, the address earlier. And so, well, I don't care if you put Uncle Sam down at my address. And so when I log into my voter portal app, I put Uncle Sam in there, and it pops up in my Indiana voter portal on indiana.gov, and it pulls up my address and my precinct and the demo ballot and everything else. But I want things to be done. This is Dearborn County should be the best out of any county in the state. Everything should be done legally. Everything should be done the same. There should be equal under justice under the law. We shouldn't cut any corners. Everything should appear on the ballot the way it's supposed to appear. The form is misleading. If we're going to file on technicality and have these run off the ballot, I would recommend that every single candidate, whether they were challenged or not, have from this board a recommendation that all rules that are applied for the ballot be followed. Everybody's name's in caps, so the whole other 88 people filed for it, Republican, all 80 other 5 people who filed incorrectly need to have everything amended. You have to call those people, whatever, they just put it on the ballot that way because that's the way it's written.
Another question?
To select me out and not anybody else is not equal justice under the law.
You know the board doesn't pick,
I know.
right?
But you all have a spirit, if you were to, you understand the spirit of the law.
No, I'm saying that we don't create the challenges, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
We're giving.
And the date for the challenge to be filed is passed.
I do have another question.
Yes, ma'am.
You put on here that you want to be Uncle Sam, but when you signed your paperwork or your certification, you put Samuel Morrison.
Correct. That's my signature, that's my legal signature. The Samuel D. Morrison is what I put. That's my legal signature. And I filled the form out at the top that says Samuel David Morrison. But that's printed, not signed. My signature on all my legal documents is Samuel D. Morrison. Now, if you want an autograph later, you have to autograph it, I'm saying. But my legal name
And
is
as you addressed, with the IC code 357, that information is not applicable to precinct committeemen or political parties,
Okay.
delegates. And that is stated on the CAN 37 form. I have spoke with Indiana Election Division, in reference to this issue. They are looking into getting that form changed for the 2020 elections.
Good.
Do you have anything further? And sir, I see you back there, we'll get you, we've got to.
Okay.
No. But do you have anything else to say, Mr. Morrison?
Yeah, one other thing on some of the other filings that have happened as far as being, having people picked off. He had said he had voted Democrat in 2016, that was 10 years ago, and hasn't voted Democrat since. I think as a Republican chair in the rules of the Republican Party, the 45 pages, it's the responsibility of the chair to grow the party, to promote the party. And I would, I know you can't answer right now, but my question was, were any phone calls made to these people asking, where are your values, where are your stances? You remember this election board 2 years ago, you asked the previous chair, and it was confirmed, back and forth, legal, yes, people have the ability to sign that form right now.
30 seconds.
And endorse for the person to run. So he didn't have to file a challenge, he could have. We're letting Democrats run, which if you want to switch parties, but when you go to Democrat as soon as recent as whatever, 2020 and 2016, and yet you're a Republican nominated person, you're allowed to appear on the ballot. Commissioner Turner voted Democrat in 2016, and under Commissioner Thatcher's leadership in the GOP, came in and ran as a Republican in 2018. So the responsibility of the party is to grow the party, not pick the party. And our elections are to be free and fair, not when the refs call the game, the real champion didn't walk away.
We put a motion to let him talk a little bit more. Do you have anything else to say?
Unless you have any other questions, John, I'm fine with
I
that.
have another further question.
My mom would be proud of him in 15 minutes.
There you go. All right. Mr. Thorpe, do you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, do I sit down?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you, board, for taking your day.
I agree with Mr. Mortensen that we should grow the party. But we are also a fighting organization. We have the ability to set rules. And we have the opportunity and the responsibility to make sure those rules are enforced and to allow for discretion for the county chairs where they feel appropriate. Jim, are you on the ballot this year? No. Okay. how everybody files, he technically, but all of the people who file and the way in which they file, including Jim. There's no question when you walk into the voting booth, Jim Thatcher, who he is. And a number of the people that Mr. Mortensen references who know him as Uncle Sam are outside this county. Are we here to talk about Ohio and Switzerland County and Ripley and people that know him as Uncle Sam? No, we're talking about Ripley County. And none of the examples that he brings up in terms of people and how they file brings up in people's mind a fictional character who would bring up that person. So, again, I see Jim Thatcher's name on there, however he wrote it. I know who I'm voting for. Or not voting for. That's the extent of my comments.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to allow this gentleman to talk. Can you please come to the podium and please state your name, and then we're going to swear you in real quick.
I'll be short.
Please state your name.
I'm Joe Holt.
Joe Volk, Mr. Volk, can you please state the following? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good. Go ahead, sir.
So you brought up a point. I never ran in the county, but I did sign up with the state. And they asked for your nickname. And the clerk stands there. I actually brought a lawyer with me, but the clerk stands there so you know. Because probably most of you haven't ever signed up with the state. I would think they would know the law, but they literally tell you whatever you want to put on there. So, because I thought, well, I don't really know how to put that on there. And when you really did look at it, it is supposed to be in all caps. My name is Joseph Volk, but I go by Joe. So I really didn't technically fill mine out right either, neither did Randy. But the clerk, which we're putting the trust in the clerk, wherever you go, Sam put the trust in the clerk of Dearborn County. I trusted State House. I figured they know more about it than me. Because it takes a lot of courage for people to step up and run. It's really out of a lot of people's comfort zone. And when we said the Pledge of Allegiance, we are a republic. That's when the people, the power rests in the people, not the establishment. So what's going on in here today is really disturbing to me. How there's several of you that have been Democrats that switched over to the Republican. But we can allow the door in when we want. We can allow the door to go open if we want, or closed. We have a young guy, I love him to death, Lucas Preston. He's only 17 years old. You filed for him. He signed off on Lucas. He's never voted. I love him to death. But he has no life experience. And he's never voted ever because he's only 17. I encourage him to get into politics, to be there. But he's going to be easily molded because he's fresh. He doesn't have much life experience. So I just wanted to let you know, when you brought up you didn't know what state level, or I just wanted to let you know my experience on the state level. And the laws are mainly, when you go back to your section 310-114.1, that law is I call it a small law. It's so people didn't jump from the Democrat side to the Republican side. That is what that law was. There's people like, oh, we're not running on the Democrat side, so we'll flip to the Republican side. So if you can't prove, in my opinion, that someone was a Democrat, jumping to the other side, then they should be able to run. That is why people died for our freedom. And so we had the freedom to vote. And these people, like the gentleman right here, he probably didn't want to get up and speak. It's not his nature, but I'm sure he's a really good man. So let's look into the soul rather than a technicality that was made by people playing the game. It's like playing a board game, but someone's always cheating all the time. We need to stop that part. Because that's why these rules were made. They should be taken out. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Just a quick question. You said you're part of the legislature right now, correct?
I'm running for state senator.
Gotcha. So
District 43.
you believe that if you passed a law people can choose to follow the spirit and not the letter of the law you pass?
This guy right here gets to choose if any one of these guys get to go through.
Right, but if they are in violation of statute, your statement is that we should look at the spirit, not the letter of the law,
Yeah,
even if you may be one that be right in the law.
I want to be right in the law, but when you have an organization that's stopping other people to come through, so it's called red tape. Do we let someone through or not? The committee that's in right now allows people to come through the doors when they want, and they can shut them when they want. Because when you really look at it, look at Preston, they left the door open, they let him through. You look at it, he's only 17, so he didn't vote in 2 primaries. And all technicality, he'd have to try to be 22 before he was actually legally allowed
30 seconds.
to go under the law. So these are very minute laws that the party can use or not use. That's my point there. Not that we don't have to follow the law. They get to choose if we use it or not.
But you do believe that we should follow the law.
Yes,
Then basically, if there's a written law, we should follow it, correct? No.
correct. But this is one they can use if we use it or
A
not.
motion to extend this time for now.
Oh, okay. Any other questions? Or?
No, please continue. We want to hear what you have to say, please. I don't want to cut your time off just for no.
Oh, okay. Well, 2 years ago, they protested, and Mark Dole was the head guy. So he literally told me, and they were protesting my wife because she only did vote at one time. He says, well, she goes to Republican meetings. We would have let her slide through, but there was 8 or 10 candidates. I don't remember the exact number. You can't let the rest of them go through because there was too many people. They would have had a conflict with the establishment that's already there. It's bringing in people. As far as the people, that's why we have our nation. It's so common people are running our government, not establishments. Because if you follow establishment, the establishment, they have a leader. And normally the leader, all you gotta do is follow the money trail, and right goes to the head of the establishment. When you follow the money trail. Because they're getting people to vote, so their businesses prosper. And that's not the way it should be. That's not why people died for a freedom.
Any questions on that?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Well, Mr. Ward.
No, he can go. I just want to get my 5-minute rebuttal
Absolutely.
to the chair.
Absolutely. Go ahead, please, as you said, please state your name and then we'll swear you in.
Bobby Rowan.
Mr. Rowland, can you please, there we go. Please raise your right hand and basically, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Go ahead.
I didn't know Uncle Sam prior to 2 months ago. We had something happen out in the county, out in Manchester Township, that concerned a bunch of citizens, and I had heard of Uncle Sam. I knew that he was a champion of kind of the grassroots. That prompted me to reach out to him, and I got one. Without Uncle Sam's help, just sharing his contact list with us, you know, our group and our movement probably would not have been as successful. Throughout what we were attempting to accomplish, numerous people asked me, have you reached out to Uncle Sam? And it was always under that name, Uncle Sam. They know, you know, people in this county, Dearborn County, do know Sam Morrison as Uncle Sam. That's all I have.
Very good. Any questions for you? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Morrison, can you please do your rebuttal, please?
May you reintroduce myself?
No, you're under oath
Okay,
still.
all right.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Eubank, if I may disagree with you on something, you were talking with Mr. Volk here about should people follow the law or not, and I think there was a miscommunication that absolutely people should follow the law. And he believed that too. His point was that the law clearly states that the chair has the discretion to sign for one or not sign.
Sure.
The problem and the grievance, the First Amendment right to redress your government for grievances, so it is for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, yada yada, 5 First Amendment rights, and rejection of government for grievances. This has been a grievance that's been going on for almost 10 years that I'm aware of, and probably longer than that, but I'm not in the diaper too much what's happening. So the discrepancy here is that the chair is doing certain individuals they'll sign for, other individuals they won't. When this law was passed, I talked to a retired state legislator who voted this law, the 2 primary rule back in, I believe it was 2021. And I was at a Republican breakfast. I was at an Art Live Club breakfast because it's not a part of the Republican Party technically, according to whatever was on record but the board hearing 2 years ago. And he said that the reason they passed this law of 2 primaries was to prevent Democrats from switching over and running as Republicans, which it is clearly in the GP rules. And in all actuality, when they passed this law, there's 86% of the state, according to this retired state legislator, who voted no on this law, but it still passed. The 86% of the state is not qualified by the 2 primary rule. So Joe's issue of what he was pointing out is that the chair had the option to sign for both of these candidates. There's a 3rd candidate that was called, and he reached out to me, and somehow there was a phone call, somebody connected us, and I said, don't submit that form, you can fight that. And originally, the GOP chair had said, well, you didn't vote in the most 2 recent primaries. Well, that's not technically the law, it's the 2 procedural primaries in which you voted. I walked that gentleman through that, I told him to contact the chair back and tell him that you have voted in 2 primaries. He did. The issue is people are getting kicked off the ballot who are Republican. They're voting Republican. They should be signed to have on. If we're interested in growing the party and having a healthy party, they should be signed to have on. Joe's complaint is that you're allowing some 17-year-old kid to run, not allowing a mature, seasoned man to be involved in this township, to be on the ballot that the people can choose. And according to him, he hasn't voted Democrat in 10 years. Well, our governor voted Democrat 10, 12 years ago, and now he's a Republican. There's a lot of people in this area who have switched over from Democrat to Republican. And one of the great things about Southeast Indiana is that it's not most of the crazy Democrats like New York and LA. There's a lot. I got neighbors who are good. There's a lot we can work on. We're not as divided as the Democrats and Republicans at the federal level. So it makes sense that a lot of people switched over. But that is the cause of concern there. He's not budging on the law. The law specifically states that the chair has the ability and their discretion to sign or not sign. And he's pointing out that there is an obvious imbalance there. That you're letting a 17-year-old kid run and be nominated as 20 people who get to vote out of 50,000 something people in our county at the state convention, and be possibly a deciding vote. Or yet you never called, or to my knowledge, never called to say, hey, what are your values? Do you vote Republican in the general? Okay, well, technically there's this rule, so you need to have a letter signed off. I'll sign for you. Did that happen? I can't examine him, but that's my question. Did that happen? Because 2 years ago, that did not happen. They were just challenged and kicked off. And that's the grievance of the grassroots. My concern, if I were challenging his credibility as chair before the GOP, my concern would be that he's in violation of growing the GOP and encouraging the growth of the party. He's actually defaming the party by playing games like this. Nothing against you, I don't want to live in a Democratic county. I got kids, I don't want to raise them in a Democratic county. I want a strong Republican county. 89%, very encouraging to me. But if these games continue to be played, it is very possible the grassroots will get fed up and say, well, the Republicans are just as crooked as the Democrats. And so folks start voting for the Democrats. I want a strong Republican Party. I want a grassroots party. I want a healthy party. And I disagree with these other challenges that are being made. I know they've already been removed, but I want to go on record saying that. And in his defense, he is not disagreeing or saying the law he would pass or not pass should not be followed. The law specifically gives the discretion to the chair. So, thank you.
Mr. Morrison, one question I agree. Your belief, that the chairman can choose to challenge or not to challenge. You do not, and I want to be sure on this, you do believe that this board needs to uphold the law, correct?
Agreed.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions too? We've done a rebuttal, and if I allow you to have a rebuttal, I'm going to give him a rebuttal too. So, Alan, if you want to go ahead and take it.
Oh, I would just make one.
Go ahead, take this
one
stand.
point, and then, Lucas Preston was brought up all the times, and, yeah, I did prove that. And for multiple reasons, he's not just 17-year-old kid, he just turned 18 weeks ago. He's done more than most Republicans in this county over the last 2 years. Not only attended Republican Club meetings, multiple times over the last 2 years. Volunteered to the World Fair. Helped sign up multiple students at his school to vote. He's been team Republican chair for the Dearborn County. He's attended multiple Labor Day dinners, 2025, in not only our county, but I think it was either Ohio or Switzerland County where he spoke. he led us in the Pledge of Allegiance of ours. He also spoke at the Charlie Kirk vigil back in last fall in Morrisburg. So that young man has done a heck of a lot for the Republican Party. And I would say there's very few people that, outside of being in public office, have a resume that can touch this. That is why I approved him to be on the ballot.
I'll give Mr. Morrison, do you want to rebut that at all?
I'm fine.
All right. Mr. Thatcher, if you could, please. Of course, Mr. Thatcher. Let me get my notes out here. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Very good. Go ahead, Mr. Thatcher.
I just want the board to know there's been a lot of information that floated around. Some really good points made by folks that could potentially strengthen the campaign setting in the future. Bottom line is though, Uncle Sam never used that name on Facebook. It was always Uncle Sam for Indiana. If he would put Uncle Sam for Indiana on his ballot, then I don't think I'd have a problem with it. But just to put Uncle Sam, that fits his character with no identifying face, and there's more than just a few people that he mentioned that call him Uncle Sam. There are other people in the county, they don't know who Uncle Sam is, and they're gonna be voting. Is that fair? Just to put a single name on there, Uncle Sam. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Very good. Mr. Morrison, you want to rebut?
Thank you.
Commissioner Thatcher, those were good remarks. Uncle Sam for Indiana, I believe, is more than 20 characters, and therefore is illegal to put as your nickname. And I'm not Uncle Sam for Indiana. It's just how you have to put it on social media. You have to count that out. Is that 20 characters?
No, it's way less than 20 characters.
Uncle Sam for Indiana?
Well, Uncle Sam for Indiana would be, yes, I guess, would be under 20.
Because that's the thing. I'm not Uncle Sam for Indiana. When people came up and called me, they didn't say you're Uncle Sam for Indiana. They said you're Uncle Sam. That's what it is like. And Indiana is not my last name. It's how you have to literally fill out a Facebook or social media platform. You have to say what you're for the office, or just for in generalities, for Kentucky, for Indiana, for whatever. So that's why I didn't put Uncle Sam for Indiana. If we were going to have a compromise here today, or if this is even allowed to have a compromise, I would just prefer that my name appear on the ballot the way I filled out the form, with my given name, Samuel, in parentheses, Uncle Sam, put in parentheses, and capitalize everything, and then put David Mortensen. That doesn't have any discretion or anything else. I think that would meet all of the legal requirements as long as everything's capitalized. And everybody else should be capitalized as well too. And specifically Mr. Thatcher's, all of his last name should be capitalized, not mixed up and down. So that's what I would recommend. And I think the Uncle Sam for Indiana would be too long to put in there. Everyone knows me, when he calls me that in interactions that I've had. So that's why I did not put Uncle Sam for Indiana. Indiana's not my last name. It's just how you have to fill out a Facebook application.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Does anybody else have any other comments? All right, seeing there's no comments with the committee's blessing, I'd like to just set out some statements of fact about what we know and everything before, and then what I'd like to do is motion second it, and then I want to discuss it up here if we could, right? So this is, and like I said, please disagree with, this is my statement of facts, as I believe it is that 3-10-1-14.1 is the controlling statute as to precinct men and delegates, how forms should be filled out. So that'd be my first one. My second statement of fact is that Sam Mortensen did in fact fill out a ballot, his name correctly spelled on the front, but how it was to appear on the ballot was written as Uncle Sam. So we have a form that has both his name correct and also his nickname in the ballot. The third thing that I would like to find is the fact that there was a legitimate challenge made by Republican chair of the county of Dearborn. Is there any other facts that we need to notice before we move into this discussion? Do you have a fact, Mr. Morrison, that you'd like us to entertain?
Thank you, Mr. Eubank, or Mr. Chair. I agree with all those facts. There's one additional fact that I would like to add, is that Uncle Sam appeared in the boxes on the form where it specifically said a nickname can be used in that form. And I can provide that.
We'll put that as a finding fact as well. I know, I agree with you.
No, it's right here, it says on the bottom. Nickname. Cool. And the clerk confirmed it at the bottom.
So, right now, I would say my motion is gonna be that we not allow Mr. Morrison on the ballot because of a violation of 3-10-1-14.1, based on the fact that it does not follow the strictures of that statute. Do I have a second to that motion?
I second.
All right, before we vote, I wanna go ahead and just discuss it. I want everybody to talk about it and their feelings, and then I'll give my feelings as well. But go ahead, Patty.
We met last year when I started on the chair. So at no point until today have I ever known it was Uncle Sam. If I would have seen Uncle Sam on the ballot, I would have known who it was. I honestly, in my opinion, don't know that it would help you, because people would have taken it as cartoonish. But I do know that you were given the opportunity to put your last name on there. You refused, but now you want us to. So that's
And
where,
it was Wendy that called and said, do you want to?
Okay, we're-
Not, should you?
We're gonna keep this in
I'm
public
just
hearing.
telling you the facts that I know. I know that you were given the opportunity, you stated that you refused, and now you're asking us at the end of the rebuttal to put your full name on there with your nickname, and you're okay with that. Those are the facts that I'm pointing out.
Wendy, anything?
And during a challenge, it is either we, accept the challenge or we deny the challenge. If we accept the challenge, then the name does come off the ballot. If we accept it, then the name would stay on the ballot.
Well, in that case, Wendy, I asked to amend my former motion to.
Did I say it backwards?
Well, I said it backwards, if you can say it correctly, and then I'll entertain a motion again, please.
Yeah, if we accept the challenge, then his name does come off the ballot.
So then I amended to motion to accept the challenge. Very good. Do I have a second on that?
I second.
Very good. So we'll continue talking. Any other statements? Wendy?
The only thing that I have is pertaining to the way the IC code is on the CAN 37. It does say you can use a nickname in any of the boxes. I have spoke to Indian Election Division. They are gonna work on getting that process taken care of.
So I just want to say this, that, this is a spiral, it's a poor written law, okay? Basically, what we did is we looked at 357, go all the way through that, only to find at the very beginning, 357 doesn't apply. Then you find that our form quotes 357, right? I was lost, we were talking to the election board, had some hard times talking to them about it. However, there is a law on point, and it's buried. I find that law is hard to find, Mr. Volk. I'm looking at you, because if you get elected, one of your jobs is to clean some of this up.
absolutely.
However, I want to make this a point. One of my favorite Republicans of all time was Lincoln. And I think a lot of Republicans here agree. And back when he was running, of course, me and Mr. Morrison had talked about this before, Mr. Lincoln had his lunch handed to him many, many times before finally getting elected to Senate and then president, right? But one of his election speeches, he said, it's more eloquent and triplets and all kinds of stuff. Basically, Mr. Lincoln said the best way to get a bad law repealed is to enforce it strictly. And I've always been a fan of that there are bad laws on the books. The only way people notice that they're bad laws is if you enforce them strictly. And the issue is that this board right here, regardless of our opinions, feelings, or anything else like that, and I think that this board very much so is a democracy first board rather than a control by anyone else board. We're looking for that the common man can run. We want our fellow Republicans and people that share our beliefs to be on these ballots. However, we are bound by these rules and laws, all right? And so for these reasons, my vote is that we must strictly uphold the law, that this 3-10 is clear as a bell. I'm not going to speak as to, there's other issues probably that you put Uncle Sam in parentheses. I'm not even gonna get into that, but however, I think we asked the chairman, he probably wouldn't have, challenged this had it been in parentheses or done. But however, I do ask the chairman to, take Mr. Morrison, if we gotta apply the law fairly, that if, people are not filling this out, that they, in fact, they be challenged, right? And so we do have a fair written rules. I think that, you know, moving forward, I think we have an aim, and I hope this Morrison continues to run, okay? But anyway, those are my comments. Anybody else have any comments they want to share? All right, are we prepared to take a vote? All right, let's take a roll call vote. Peggy, how do you vote on the motion to accept the challenge?
I accept the challenge.
And I also accept the challenge, so therefore, we'll not have your name on the ballot this time. All right, is there any other business before the commission? Anything else that we need to discuss?
Can I have a couple comments maybe?
Absolutely, please take a stand up, please.
So my name is Vanessa Mortensen,
All
Sandy's
right.
wife.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this cause is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it's just an opinion. So I just kind of want to ask a resounding question. You don't have to answer yes or no as the committee. So based upon what has happened today, we should be really thankful that our chair did not challenge every other individual on this code, because we would have removed 50-plus Republicans in good standing from our ballot. Is that accurate? No. No?
Mine was accurate.
Yours is not accurate on the sheet. You're in lowercase, so that
I'm in uppercase.
it's not on the
My
sheet.
application was uppercase.
Okay, so if we look back at every can 37 and check to see if everybody filled it out, give a name, nickname, surname, and everything had to be in caps. And if it did not follow that, we would have had to remove it today.
First off, let's read the statute out clearly, because I think there might be some misunderstanding about the statute. Because I heard some debate, I didn't find it to be relevant to the proceedings, but so section 14.1, all the candidates, I believe put my cheaters on real quick here, for each office who have qualified in the manner prescribed by IC 3A for placement on the primary election ballot shall be grouped together under the name of the office and printed in type with uniform capital letters, okay? With uniform space between each name at the head of each group. A statement reading substantially as follows must be placed immediately below the name of the office and above the name of the first candidate. Vote for not more than blank, insert number of candidates to be nominated, candidates for this office. In addition to the candidate's given name and surname, the candidate may use initials or a nickname by which the candidate is commonly known. If the candidate choice of initials or nickname does not exceed 20 characters, any nickname used must appear in parentheses between the candidate's given name and the candidate's surname. A candidate may not use a designation such as a title or a degree or a nickname that implies a title or a degree. The candidate's name must be printed on the ballot exactly as the name appears on the candidate's certificate of nomination, petition of nomination, or declaration of candidate. So the question I think you're asking me, which is more of a job for Mr. Volk, I believe there's ambiguity in that first part. Who are they talking to? Are they talking to the clerk?
Right.
Are they talking to the person? I would say they're talking to the clerk only because Part B, it specifically states how the candidate should fill in the forms. So if you're asking me how I would have decided those, I probably would have found the ambiguity as to the first part stating, and I would probably find that as finding a fact. There's some ambiguity there. But personally, I would probably have found the capital letters were to be created by the clerk.
On the
So
ballot.
how can you separate that
The
when it's in
statute.
the same law?
Well, because I think the Part B, they change up the name, so just statutory construction.
So we as citizens should know that Part B is for us and Part A is for you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this right now, I think you heard me say this, I think it's ambiguous, I think it's not a
I
good
agree.
law.
And if you read the beginning of it, it says printing the name on ballot. Can
Which
37
means that would be for the clerk, because I don't mess with ballots.
Right, and the can 37 is the form that you're filling out, it is
Right,
not.
but it doesn't
one.
say candidate, it doesn't say the candidate here. So it's ambiguity, like it's not clear.
It's a tough law, and you asked me
Right.
how I would interpret it, based on my little seat here, that's how I would have interpreted it.
Right.
Whether I'm right or wrong, that's for a clerk or board to
I
decide.
just wanna say, as a Republican in this county, I'm sitting here thankful that 50 plus other challenges were not filed, because we would have had many removed based upon that statute used. Because it would have been a broad sweep,
In your opinion.
in my opinion, yes, in my
Wait,
opinion.
then, thank you for your time. Anybody else have any comments?
And
Seeing,
that is the way that they are on the ballot, all county elections.
oh, excellent. Seeing there's no comments, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion to adjourn. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, folks.